Revenge films.
I've been happily married for 4 years, and my husband and I have no kids. Recently, my father-in-law has been putting pressure on us to have children. I'm lucky because my mother-in-law is very understanding, and she doesn't put any pressure on me. I was starting to get concerned about the fact that my husband and I were not getting pregnant, despite being married for 4 years now. That is why I've been going to the fertility clinic for some time.
I can't wait for you two to have children. I want some grandkids.
My mother-in-law would put an end to his persistent requests, and I was very thankful for that. I had a variety of tests done at the fertility clinic, but the doctors couldn't figure out what was causing my infertility. So they told me that I had to be patient. Many people assume that infertility is mainly associated with women, but my doctor recommends that you get tested as well.
I see. I'll go when I have some time then.
I could tell that my husband was very reluctant to get tested at the clinic. I think you should prioritize getting tested because we want to know why you're not getting pregnant. You do want kids, right?
I do. I want at least 3 kids.
But he isn't doing anything to help me get pregnant, which was a problem. I was irritated with him because we were both still in our 20s, so I hoped that we'd be able to conceive naturally. I hoped that my husband would eventually consider getting tested when the time was right for him. One evening, I went out to dinner with my husband and his parents. The restaurant that we went to was very nice, and as we were eating our fancy meal, my father-in-law had a bit too much to drink. As usual, he began to ask my husband and I about our plans for kids, and my mother-in-law stopped him from nagging us. "We don't need to talk about that right now. Let's just enjoy this meal." My husband, who was also tipsy, added,
My dream is to have 3 beautiful kids.
I was annoyed that my husband would say something like that, saying that he wasn't supportive at all when it came down to fertility treatments.
Your brother had kids right away. What's taking you two so long?
I wanted to tell my father-in-law that my brother-in-law only got married because his girlfriend at the time became pregnant with his child. I was trying to hold back my frustration, but then my mother-in-law slowly nodded in my direction, letting me know that it was okay for me to talk back to her husband and son. How can you say that you want 3 kids when we can't even get pregnant with 1? You need to get tested at the fertility clinic first. Otherwise, there aren't going to be any children for us. I mean, I got tested. What are you waiting for? Do you know how I feel when I see other women pregnant? I feel like a failure, and I feel guilty. I knew that you were reluctant about getting tested, so I expected you to at least make an effort on the days that we might conceive naturally. But you don't care at all, and you go out drinking on nights that you shouldn't be.
Well,
It seems like my husband couldn't say anything back to me. It's really tough for me because my doctors have basically told me that there's nothing wrong with my fertility. Now I'm just waiting for you to make an effort. If you're not going to make an effort, I'm not going to the clinic anymore. It's a waste of my time and money. And I don't need your father pressuring us to get pregnant. I mean, you were upset with your other son when he got a girlfriend pregnant, but now you bring them up like they're a better couple than us. After I let out all my feelings, I began to cry in front of everyone. You two should head home now. I'm going to have a talk with your wife. I left the restaurant with my mother-in-law, and we went to a different place to talk. After my mother-in-law listened to me pour my heart out to her, she told me that when she was younger, she had difficulty conceiving as well. She told me that she could relate to what I was going through. She told me that she was sorry that her son was so uncooperative about getting tested at the fertility clinic. But I told her that it wasn't her fault, and she just found out about it. I was so lucky to have her by my side. After I got home, I received a text message from my mother-in-law. My son is talking things over with his father right now. He's going to spend the night here tonight. I'll keep you posted. The following morning, when my husband returned home, he apologized to me for his behavior. He told me that he had to go to work today, but that he would make an appointment with the clinic tomorrow and get tested. That evening, we talked some more about our plans for having children. I asked him why he had been so reluctant to get tested until now. He told me that he was ashamed and that he didn't want to find out that he was unable to reproduce. I then asked why he would go out drinking on the nights that he could have stayed home and made an effort to conceive naturally. To that, he said that he wanted things to happen naturally and that he didn't like the fact that we'd have to sleep with each other based on the predetermined schedule. I understood where he was coming from because I heard that couples could get so focused on getting pregnant that everything else would just get compromised. I also asked him why he had suddenly changed his mind about getting tested. He told me that until he had seen me angry last night, he figured that we would be able to conceive naturally. It seemed that his mother had to explain to him how expensive going to the clinic was, and that it had also put a big strain on me physically and emotionally because of some of the treatments that were quite painful. She made him realize just how much effort I was putting into the visit to the clinic. My husband felt bad that he had made me go through this all by myself. He promised that he would be more supportive from now on. The following day, my husband and I went to the fertility clinic. My husband promised me that even if we were not able to have kids, he wanted to remain married to me and that he would make an effort so that we could both be happy.
I'm really sorry that it took me this long to realize how wrong I was. I hope you can forgive me.
I could see that he had really changed and was no longer upset with him. I'm glad that we're on the same page now.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
After some time, my husband and I went to see his parents again. It seemed that my mother-in-law had lectured her husband quite a bit, and he no longer mentioned the fact that he wanted grandchildren. When I had been going to the fertility clinic myself when I was younger, my husband wasn't supportive at all. I'm upset that my son had reacted in the exact same way as his father. You both need to think about your partner's needs and not just your own. To that, my father-in-law and husband were speechless. They knew that my mother-in-law was right. My father-in-law was a completely different person now. He barely spoke and kept it to himself. Don't you have something to add, dear?
I'm sorry for being so inconsiderate. I won't ever make any comments about your personal life. It's not up to me.
I could see how apologetic he was, and so decided to forget about what happened in the past. I was in awe of my mother-in-law. She was so kind to me, yet when she felt that something was wrong, she wasn't afraid to speak her mind. We got the results of my husband's fertility test back from the clinic. It turned out that there were no big issues with his fertility either. We told his parents about the test results and asked them to be patient with us. We just had to wait for the right time.
We'll let you know as soon as we have some happy news to share with you. Now that we know that we don't have any health issues, Kylie and I can relax and let things happen naturally. I don't want to add any more stress onto Kylie. She's already been through so much.
Of course. I won't say anything to add on any pressure.
There was one more thing that we wanted to share with my husband's parents.
We're thinking of purchasing a new home soon.
Do you have the money? Houses can be very expensive. Which neighborhood are you two considering?
We've been looking at houses in neighborhoods with good schools. I'm hoping to ask you for some financial support when Kylie gets pregnant and needs to take time off of her job. We plan on buying a house large enough that would allow you two to move in with us, if you like.
My husband's parents were astonished with our proposal because it was totally unexpected for them.
Kylie is thrilled about the idea of living with you two.
They both seemed happy with what we were suggesting. It seemed that my parents-in-law had considered moving in with my husband's brother and his family, but his wife was very reluctant to do so. They had given up on the idea, so when we came to them with our idea of living together, they were elated. We decided to create 2 entrances to our new house and separate the living spaces between the first and second floors so that we would have privacy. We were all very excited about designing our new home together. My mother-in-law gathered ideas for her new kitchen, bathroom, and study, and she seemed to be enjoying the process of building something new. When my parents found out about me moving in with my in-laws, they told me that they wanted to live with us, so we decided to build a 3-story house to accommodate all of us. I was an only child, and my parents wanted to live close to me so that when we had kids, they could help me out. I wasn't sure if my in-laws would be open to the idea of living with the same house as my parents, but luckily they said yes. My mother also got along with my mother-in-law, and I knew that over time it would be the same for our fathers. Living together turned out to be a great idea because we all got to spend a lot of time together, and we enjoyed each other's companies. And because our living spaces were separated by floors, we could choose to have the privacy if we wanted to. It all worked out in the end. And to our pleasant surprise, I found out that I was pregnant just as our new house was finished. We couldn't believe that the baby came out at such a perfect time. The entire family was looking forward to meeting my baby. And our new house had a nursery, which turned out to be ideal. My doctors told me that I had probably gotten pregnant because things between my husband and I were great, and we weren't stressing about not being able to get pregnant. I'm glad that I was able to tell my husband how I really felt about getting pregnant, and that with the help of his mother, he came around. When things in my life started to go well, I was able to get pregnant, and in the end, everything worked out because it was important for me and my husband to be on the same page if we were going to raise a child together. Several months later, my husband and I welcomed a healthy baby boy into the world. Our baby is so lucky because he has both his grandparents by his side, and he is going to grow up to be showered with love.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.